Did you finish setting the trap line yet?
Not yet. I just found this blackberry, so I'm checking my Facebook.
The project's called Take It From the Top, and it's really about the worldview from a northern perspective. So what does the world look like from up here? So how do the student researchers see their north, and how do they see the larger world, the southern world, in the context of their worldview? And also, what would they like to share in regards to their north and their northern perspective with the south? Because the north is something that I think is quite mysterious to many people, and I think northerners have a really important role in trying to help educate other audiences, southern audiences, as to what the real north is.
Hi, my name is Catherine Lenny, and we're doing a research project called Take It From the Top. It's northern perspectives on southern Canada, newcomers to the north, and their land and their people. Today I'm interviewing Rick Mercer.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
I've never been the subject of a research project before. I'm very excited.
What does the South mean to you, or symbolize to you? Sorry.
What is the South? Well, I think by South you mean like where I live, which, you know, when you live in the South in Canada, everyone who lives here thinks they're living in the North. They don't think of themselves as living in the South. So when I think South, I think the United States, of course, but I know when you say South, you mean what I think of as North, which is Canada, or, you know, Toronto is where I live now. So I think cities, that's what I think.
The projects really touch on like the depth and breadth of northern life. There's an ancient and vital traditional culture, but there's also this modern world and this progressing world, and the students really, I think, are able to capture that in specific pictures, but also to give an idea of the breadth of that knowledge too.
People come up here and they make films or they write articles or whatever, but it's not really a true representation. So I think it's really important that if somebody wants to learn about the North, that they get it right from the horse's mouth, and they get it right from people who live here and people who are from here.
So we're trying to improve our technical knowledge so that we can tell the stories in a more visually appealing and compact way. And the quality of the work and the unique voice of the work was so special. I was looking for a way that we could share it with a wider audience. And film or video was a method of doing that. Not only would it capture what the students were saying in a more full format, but we would have it in a form that we could then share with a wider audience.
There was all these tourist attraction commercials for Newfoundland and all the eastern side, and I figured, hey, well, nobody's done it for NWT, so, and I pretty much just basically tried to do the same thing as to attract people, like by showing the landscape. Some say the North is what they say in textbooks, but it's much more than that. It Rich in culture. Drum dancing is a vast part of the North. It is where the youth and elders collide. Apart from storytelling and learning their language, stories are expressed during each dance. As you see, each dance reflects a certain emotion or action, visual act. The dancers can take part in a dance any time of their life, from childhood to your elder years, whereas the elders, they could either do drumming or either just singing. Whereas the lyrics are all sung in a Valtun, in a Nocturne, and in Uttatut, giving the youth a better understanding of their language. I got caught in thinking that I want to go to Newfoundland and all that now because of that attraction commercial. So I thought maybe something was up like that about Tuktoyaktuk then, or not Tuk, but then the North, like NWT, then maybe they'll want to come. Abundant in wildlife. Our ancestors used every part of the animal or bird for clothing, tools, or shelter. The muskox playing an immense part in providing food, shelter, and playing an immense part in providing food with its built body. The fur, being so thick and coarse, can be woven into hats, scarves, or mitts. Their tusks, with a distinctive shape from other mammals across the tundra, can be carved into artwork or shaped into tools such as knives, ulus, or needles. Birds inhabiting the skies, flying free over the tundra. Again, a great variety of birds and animals from geese to muskox are used for food, supply, and clothing. And untamed. Tuktoyaktuk's pingo, which is known as the Ibiak pingo, is a top-growing northern landmark in the world. Being the second from the one in Russia, which will soon be the first, the barren tundra, with its difficult challenge for wildlife to survive, many animals and birds adapt and inhabit the land. It is attractive in numerous amount of ways, the structure, the purity, and its signature landscape. The North is a beautiful place. It's a great place to be, and so much more when you're here to experience it. And it's a home, it's a sanctuary, it's a welcoming part of this world. Basically, I just put everything I knew and I just organized it. I put most of the North and I just scrunched it up and I just organized it piece by piece. And then I thought, well, it would turn out very good, then I guess it did.
Always amazed me, no matter what class I've taught, when you ask students to go out and research something on their home or their region or their culture or their North, just how broad the ideas and how interesting they are.
I think video, to me, is the most accessible tool because it's not going to limit people based on literacy. It's not going to limit people based on accessibility. Video goes to the very root of how we learn things, right? So I think that it speaks to how each one of us learns, but it also is accessible because anybody from age 3 to 93 can watch it and get something out of it. Hello.
you speak English?
Megan?
When will the next dog team be at the airport?
Don't worry, I'll give you a ride in my car.
Car?
Let's go. Stay.
So, what do you do in the north for fun?
Well,
It's a lot of fun. You get to learn all these things that you never knew before. It's like you watch a movie, then you realize it's not that hard to put it all together. It takes a long time, but it's easy. It's easy to do things. A lot easier than you think they would be.
I think that when we tell stories, we understand how they're constructed, and therefore we understand stories that are told to us better. So I think it enriches their experience with narratives. Any additional experience, or the more experience we have with narratives, the better we do at processing them, the better we do at constructing them. As an instructor, I was quite comfortable leading research and these types of things, but my background is an English teacher. It's not in media studies. Yeah. So those grants made it possible for us to bring Dennis Allen up to work with us in January 2009, which was fantastic. We had Brett in the classroom with us all winter, which was a huge help. And then that just refines the skills the students were able to learn, right? And those skills and that enhanced support made it possible for them to start moving into these individual projects.
Myself and Dennis, we really tried to give them, the students, the foundation of the equipment, the video, the editing, the shooting, so that they were able to go out and really capture their stories and their ideas, but make them look as good as they could be.
At the very beginning, you have an idea of what you want, and then you go and you do all your research, and then you, like, the more the merrier, right? So you get a lot of research, and then you have to go through it all and transcribe and then cut what you don't need.
Putting it all together, it's so easy just to go out and interview people. Like, you're on the camera, you're asking them questions, and then you go back to your desk. All the stuff is here that you did, all your interviews, all your shots, all your cover shots, and then it's just putting it all together. Just takes a lot of time.
So once the students had their individual projects planned out and figured out and storyboarded, we then grouped the students together project by project with similar themes and similar scenes so that the students could pair up, go out and shoot together. So we went out and drove to some of the different communities, and they were able to apply those skills that they learned in the classroom in real life situations.
Every Friday when we'd have those classes, you know, just demonstrations and whatever, you know, participating. And at first I was shy, and then going on those trips like to Aklavik and Tuk, I became more, I was pulled in by it, and I gave it a shot, and I just got comfortable.
Suzanne found a couple extra dollars, and she used that money to bring on a couple of the students during the summer to work as summer students. And that was a really good experience, and she was also able to bring the whole group down to Edmonton, where they could add a few pieces from the southern perspective into their projects. And the students were able to go on that trip, apply those skills in a different situation, a different setting, and then add those pieces from a different area, from a different region, into each of their individual projects.
We were northerners trying to get a southerner's perspective on northern culture. and a lot of them down there thought they were North, which is really crazy to us because we're way North. And we were experiencing a Southern culture and trying to get perspectives from Southerners on Northerners. So what I would say is we were, what's the word? We were pretending to be Southerners getting Northern perspective.
I put on my parky and those snow goggles and big wolf mitts and went skating. It was fun.
When Shelby was acting, you know, she was using her parka and, you know, she was walking down West Edmonton Mall and people were, you know, looking at her like, what is she doing? And, you know, I filmed them looking at her and I was like, I hope that they could see that. You know, when she was ice fishing and whatever, she just wanted to, you know, reverse it. You know, show others, like reverse the funniness or whatever.
I wouldn't want to speak for the girls, but the idea came up that Shelby would dress up in her traditional clothes and go through the mall, and I think they wanted to compare what it would be like for a traditional Inuvialuit harvester to, you know, walk off the land and go into the West Edmonton Mall and see and try to fathom what kind of, you know, Southern perspective that life is, that commercialized Southern life. And it was a really fun project, and by that point in time, the girls had done a couple projects already, so they had a bit more experience and they were really starting to experiment with being a little bit more creative on their projects.
I found students exceptionally easy to adapt to. Like, they got it right away. It wasn't a very tough sell. It was like, yes, of course, this is a natural extension of how we tell stories.
We went and interviewed people and found out what they knew about the North, and a lot of them didn't really know much. they thought they were north. Well, I guess they can be. I mean, compared to here, it's south.
Do you guys consider yourself northerners or southerners?
Compared to the rest of the world, I'd say north.
Yeah, north.
Why?
Well, Canadians are always considered like way up there and out of the way, and
I think I would consider myself a northerner.
Really? Why?
Just because I think of most of Canada as the north, I guess.
Everyone just says it's always cold, and people say that you like all live in igloos.
Do you believe that?
No, because people say that for the southerners too, and we don't.
It's all ice. It's winter.
not all the time.
It's always daylight.
Not all the time.
In the summertime it is.
When they said they didn't know what to say, I just said that's part of the project. Like, you guys don't know much about the north, and we're trying to show that and teach you guys.
The themes grew out of this idea of, okay, so how do we see the world, right? How do northern people see the world? How do individuals see the world? And then how do we have this, this cultural shift where we have north and south? How do we see the world the same? How do we see the world differently, right? So those were the three themes.
So I think I just wanted to let people know how we live. It's not so isolated. We do traditional things, but not all the time. Where travel, we know how to talk normally.
Take it from the top.
Change.
Elders. Northern.
Different.
Knowledge. Traditions.
Fast-paced.
Storytelling. Values.
Time.
Freedom. Customs.
Busy.
Friendly faces. Concerns.
Cities.
Opportunities. Hopes.
Southerners.
Culture. Education.
Isolated.
Unique culture. Generations.
Hope.
Traditional knowledge. Lifestyle.
Kanokitbit, Uvanga Kandratingmiak. I am from Inuvik, located in the heart of the Mackenzie Delta in Canada's Western Arctic. I am a student researcher. I am using my own life experiences to enhance this video series.
I lived here all my life, born and raised, and I go out on the land as much as I can. And both my parents are Nunavut.
By going out on the land and doing traditional things like hunting and trapping, cleaning fish and cutting caribou.
I was born in the north. I lived in the north all my life, went school in the north, and was brought up in the north, hunting on the land. So, and when I go to a city or a bigger town than where I came from, it's a little bit too big and a little bit too noisy. So that's why I know I'm a northerner.
I think I'm a northerner because I've lived in the north for 25 years. And I came here in November of 1983. And I'm one of those people that wherever I'm at, that's home.
You have to be tough to live in the north because it's harsh in the winter time. The climate is cold, it changes rapidly. It's hard when you're growing up, you have to live a traditional life, the language and everything. So that when you grow up, you can know it, you can understand it.
I would say northern people are friendly. We're really easy to get along with, and we encourage outsiders to learn more about us.
Northern culture is the way we live and the way we teach our younger generation how to live off the land.
Our northern culture talks about the language ourselves, but also our traditional skills and lifestyle. And it could be for sewing all the traditional clothes or preparing the traditional foods from the north.
Our culture is a strong one.
Traditionally, we do a lot of things out in the land, and people love to go back out in the land and just regain their culture. And a lot of the times when people don't go out as much due to whatever, it seems like they lose themselves until they've come back out to somewhere in the land.
Well, our culture is changing a lot. We're losing our language. We've been fortunate enough to see Nunavut and Nunatsiavut and other places around, other Inuit thriving with their language, and that's one department that we're really lacking in, and knowing that we're going to lose it puts a lot of insecurity in that.
My hopes for the North would be to teach our young generation the traditional skills and the knowledge, and to keep the culture alive.
I'm looking for their meaning, like what was vital to them, like how it changed them, why it changed them, and how can we not go back to that kind of hurt. Like for the elderly people, it was like that, but then for the people who saw it as being positive, I'm just looking as to why it's positive. Like, why are there so many people that are so against it, but then on the other hand, there's like so many people that are for it. So I'm just trying to go back and forth on the yes and the no and pull it through that way.
It was really interesting to see the thought progression with some of the projects and where they were coming from and where they were going. In some cases, an event in their lives triggered a thought, and they would maybe question why something was a certain way, and then they would go research it.
It was the same year that my son was starting kindergarten, and I wanted to put him into Inuvialuktun immersion. And it got me thinking that now they're trying to pull our language into our curriculum, and in the past they were trying to pull our language out of it.
I went to Atlantic, the one in Atlantic RC Mission here. The one at closed, I went from here to Inuvik.
Crawley Hall in Inuvik. I was 8 years old.
I was in Stringer Hall here in Inuvik, not for very long, just over a year. I stayed in the hostel, we called it. We didn't call it a residential school.
About 52 or 54, I went in here, and then I stayed here till 60s when they opened the one in Inuvik. From here, right from Atlantic to Inuvik, I went from by admission boat, and I stayed in school in Golier Hall till 62.
I wasn't taken off the land. We did spend summers out at the fish camp. I guess my experience was a little bit different in that my father got sick, and my mother wasn't able to take care of all of us. So I was put into the hostel for a short time, and at that time also my mother, who I love dearly, was also drinking a lot. So I was happy to go into the hostel.
I stayed right till when I was in 52 or 54, I went here. And the only time I went home was in 61 or 62. And so I said I didn't even know I had parents. Didn't even know I had brothers and sisters. I stayed in the hostel all that time.
I could say yeah and I could say no. Because I couldn't even see my own brother in the same building. We couldn't even talk to each other or communicate or be together or visit or whatever.
Lots of things I can't remember because I get treated so bad that I learned how to block things out. And it's only been lately now that I start trying to deal with all that problems I had. Because when I first come out of the hospital, I had a lot of problems, so I took up drinking, and then it took over my life. But then when I met my wife Pam, I quit drinking, and I'm glad I met her because she helped me quite a bit.
I think it's going to be helpful to everybody to see, like, not just the negatives. Like, that was what I wanted to do at first, was all the negatives of residential school. But then I started thinking about it, and I can't be biased about it because I didn't like experience it. But I gotta like let everybody know that it wasn't all negative.
Well, when I took my project on, going to Bakir, I don't know, there's an opportunity to show others what I see as like my own project. First was my culture, and then I wanted to show Southern people about where we live and how global warming is going to affect where we live. That's what I wanted to show the viewers.
Across the frozen tundra, we were accompanied by my father, Jonah Nekamiak, brother Herb Nekamiak, and guests Bill and Francis Wilkie. We left late that night, and it took over 7 hours to reach to Bakir Lake. This film that I want to present is a little bit of my cultural background and where I like to go, whether it's spring, fall, or winter. What you are about to see is where we like to spend time hunting, fishing, and picking berries in all seasons.
When I first discovered this area, I was working for another outfitter. I worked for him maybe for over 10 years, and I discovered this area that looked like, boy, it'd be a nice place to do something if I was going to do anything.
I remember when we first started, we had like 14 skidoos. You know, all my buddies would get a load of something, haul it up here. We'd have like a 2-day project out of that.
Bakir Lake was built in the spring of 1999, and at that time was used for business, but now, today, it's for personal use and on the land programs.
5 years ago, it was all sports hunt, and or just when there's no sports hunt, I come and do my own hunting, fishing, and once in a while I take people or like teachers and whoever wants to come up here.
My brother Herb plays a big role right from the hauling of the wood.
I had a lot of hard times hauling material here to put the place together.
I also got to interview Francis Wilkie, who came on this trip to Bakir Lake with her husband Bill Wilkie.
A lot of people come out here, young people, and even as far as it might seem, traveling out here, once you get out here, it's so worth it because you're so at peace with yourself. The importance of the land to our people is the hunting. We need to be able to pass that knowledge on to our younger generation because a lot of our elders are going now, and it's time that we utilize every little bit of knowledge we can get from our elders.
For my project, I wanted to show Southern people a part of the North where I call home. I thought this was a great way to show a bit of my family history. My father Jonah explains the importance of how we should grow up on the land and to survive from the land.
It is very important because that's where they come from, is in the north, and they have to upkeep the culture and teach our kids how to live off the land. Northern culture is the way we live and the way we teach our younger generation how to live off the land.
When I first started going to Bakir with my father or my brother or my sisters, I started to gain more knowledge, so I kept trying to return. I think Bakir Lake is very important to my family because we can continue to teach our families to live from the land, and I want to show others that the land is very important to our people.
I could capture it and I could share it with the audience, and with the word of mouth, it goes around. But if you capture it on video, then everyone will see it.
Because our people are talking so much about losing our culture, and then when you ask them why they're losing their culture, they say because the white man, because the residential schools, they pulled us away from our homes, they pulled us away from our land. And I felt strongly about that, because I don't personally know my culture at all.
And we're just trying to let the audience see that how it was for us, but then on their behalf. We wanted to let them see how it felt, I guess, on our side.
Suzanne, can you come with me?
Oh, I have a lot of work to do. Can I come later? Can
No.
we make an appointment?
No.
Now?
Come with me? Yes.
Okay. I'll just bring my stuff with me.
Hi, Anne. Can you come with me?
Yes, I can, but I'm busy. You realize don't have a lot of time. So what's our next thing?
Can you hurry up, please?
Just about there.
Oh, well. Oh, hi there. Hello. Hi. So, gee, what, yeah, I'm all ready. I'm all ready. Well, I don't have much time. I'm busy.
For you, Suzanne.
Oh, thank you. This seems big.
My goodness. This is
for you, Anne.
Oh my God. Oh.
Is this where we're supposed to be?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Where are we going? And I'm really busy. I can't be right my path.
Welcome to the traditional school of Inuvik and WG.
Oh, are you sure?
If you guys want to live up in the north, you guys are going to have to learn to live off the land. So we are here to help you guys go step by step and learn different signs, the weather, tradition, whatnot. I'm here to grab all your technology, your cameras, your iPods, your cell phones, help you guys.
Notebooks?
Oh, okay. But I need this stuff.
I know, but it'll help you. It'll separate you from the modern world, so it'll give you a better understanding, easier for you guys to learn and whatnot. No distractions whatsoever.
My iPod? That's a lot.
Everything.
That's a lot. That's okay. I know my cell phone. I know. Oh my God.
Runs on batteries, electricity.
Okay.
I've got this CD here. Oh, you're gonna take care of it for me, please. And don't lose. Oh, and my iPod. You can't lose my iPod.
We won't lose nothing.
Okay.
Everything will be
good. Thank
in a safe place. Yeah, I'm gonna need this also.
Oh, well, I've got everything I need in here. So
Well, everything you'll need is already on the land. Everybody.
Oh, but it's really cold
Yes.
out there.
But she bought that stuff at Mountain Equipment Co-op. It's pretty good.
Well, we'll have more. We'll have equipment, whatnot, out there that'll suit the land, everything that you'll need out.
I'm kind of nervous about that, but okay, I'm a little bit nervous, but okay.
All this gear is pretty much set for mountain stuff. We're living off land, barren, cold lands, and
that's true.
trapping.
Yeah.
And
I come from Vancouver. There are a lot of mountains there. Yeah. Okay. Okay, just take
it'll
care
be
of it.
safe. It'll be good.
I'm going to be your teacher. I'll teach you to hunt and trap so you can live off the land. These are for you.
I don't know.
I
find that a little bit scary. I eat a lot of beans and vegetables. Do we have those up here?
Do I have to skin when I catch?
Yep.
Oh, we do?
You'll learn everything from skinning to
We will.
hanging on the wall.
Cooking.
Oh,
Cooking?
Okay.
Okay.
Open the can.
Okay.
Okay, so now you guys get dressed and then we'll go into the land. These are called muklaks. They're like boots. Just
Like the boots?
yeah, you just kind of put them on. Got yours? You got them on?
Get them sort of on.
Tie them around the front. Nice little bow.
I don't think these are vegetarian, these aren't vegetarian approved.
No,
yeah.
I think those are. Am I doing this right? Where's my teacher? I don't know how to do this. Oh my! I guess I can, but all right. You're gonna start shipping those.
Yeah. So Shelby,
There, I got them.
Oh, they're beautiful.
Yay!
Yay!
The tire mountain equipment, go up. Well, there is the hood. I got a hood. Oh my God! You don't need to get undressed. You're supposed to get dressed.
Yes, I think I'll try that.
This is the trail to your new school, and we'll be back next spring. Come on, let's go.
Next spring. Oh,
Next
well, I don't know. Did
I don't
you?
think I can do this.
I don't think my
Come
answering
on.
machine will take enough messages.
If they could do it back in the day intentionally and us were reenacting it, then what was going through my head was, what were they thinking? Like, I know that they did it for the education and stuff, but then when they wanted to get rid of our language and everything, then if we felt this way just reenacting it, how did they feel doing it on purpose?
Press it again and hold it for 2 seconds till that other light comes on. Hold it on. You grab all of those files, yeah.
I didn't even look at residential stuff or the stereotyping stuff. I didn't care at the time, but now that I was more involved with this, I could say this was a tool to get more interested. This class was a tool to get more interested into that kind of background.
There's like a lot of sports and everything. But they're not everybody in this town is physically active. Like if you had another opportunity to do something like film, and not even just like work behind the camera, it's interesting. It's a good outlet.
Just feeling that you did all of it like almost by yourself. Like you're still learning to do stuff, but it's cool. You get to put your own ideas into stuff and not listen to everyone all the time.
I mean, if they can take on these projects where they're planning these things out, shooting them all, editing them all, putting in the determination and the effort into the post-production, they can take on anything.
It's interesting, a lot of fun, just because you can tell your story and then you can put it on disc, send it out, and your story's being told all over.
Going back to college or going back to school, I wanted to go into nursing. I wanted to be a nurse, and I took that media course and it just turned around on me. And I was like, I could do something like this, you know, you're involved with your culture and you could, you know, travel, get to know the people, the Inuit people in the valley.
I'm Jennifer Greenland.
I'm Jennifer Greenland, this is my road.
That's very empowering, and I think the next extension of that is when they get to then show it to their friends and show it to their family, because sometimes school seems quite separate from our lives, and that separateness can be a little isolating, which can be discouraging to students sometimes. Whereas this, you have something very tangible that you can say, I did this, look at this, watch this.
When I was interviewing Nellie, I was like, I can't believe, I can't believe I'm sitting down talking to her. And just being out there with my dad, I felt humble. He's the most modest person that I know.
I know how to work a camera, not just zoom in, zoom out, press play. And I don't just, I'm not what's the word? I don't discriminate like much. I read the book before I judge a cover, kind of thing.
It's just putting it all together. Just takes a lot of time. Well, I'm not like an office person, so I'd rather be out there doing all the interviews instead of sitting there all day putting it all together.